Now we've come to the Tony Bobulinski Baba bobblehead part of our tour. You see, this jackwad, Tony Bobulinski, wanted to go into business with the Bidens. He got a 20% stake in a business, and then they forced him out because he was trying to bring Joe Biden in and use Joe Biden's influence to get more business. This is something that Hunter Biden refused to do. See, against the Republican narrative, just like every other narrative that's fallen apart from these liars and these thieves and these scoundrels, Hunter Biden actually did the right thing in all of this, which, as Lev Parnas pointed out, wasn't Hunter making things up. It was Russian active measures Republicans were using to lie about Hunter Biden, to lie about Joe Biden.
The impeachment proceedings that bring us here now are predicated on false information spread by the Kremlin. Everyone involved knew they were sharing lies. From Trump and Giuliani's shadow diplomacy, through my missions to Ukraine and elsewhere, to members of a BLT team, a group convened for the sole purpose of investigating and damaging the Bidens.
Here, Tony Bobulinski, who looks like the big bodyguard character out of the movie Bodyguard, the one before Kevin Costner, whose ass Kevin Costner kicks. Tony Bobulinski tries to fight back and argue, and it doesn't go well for him. So we'll just show you a couple of highlights. Here he is when he won't shut up, and Dan Goldman has to help him out.
Okay, go to page 174 of the transcript, and you said it's not an accurate statement, it's a lie related to an FBI report.
I didn't call them liars.
Sorry, I don't have time. Be quiet.
You need more Tony Bobulinski content of Democrats ripping him? Here he is talking back to Jasmine Crockett, who also decides she's having none of his shit. Let's hear what Jasmine Crockett has to say.
So let me remind you of what happened behind closed doors.
Well, you should ask her O'Connor about my credibility.
I haven't asked you a question. Okay?
You are?
When I haven't. So when I ask you a question, that's when you answer. Otherwise, I'm talking. So,
excuse me?
With my time, because it's my time.
Yeah, Tony was having a rough day. It was just, he literally in his testimony referred to Dan Goldman and Jamie Raskin as liars, and Jamie Raskin made sure to respond to that. And even Jared Moskowitz got in and mocking him. It was sort of like a Democratic tag team, and it was a lot of fun. So enjoy. We'll show you a few more clips of Democrats making this fool look like the fool he was. And the funny thing is, he's sort of the upstanding one, because he's not a felon that I know of yet. He isn't a Chinese spy. He isn't a Russian spy, which makes him better than all of the other Republican witnesses. I mean, think about who these people are. Think about the levels they've sunk to. Think about the treason. It's sickening. And it's just great to see, you know, a sort of Justice League rats kicking the shit out of people like Tony Bobulinski.
Today, the good chairman and his ace MAGA detectives have finally jumped the shark. The comedy of errors comes crashing to an end as House Republicans in more than a dozen Biden districts beg for mercy, and the committee throws a flabby Hail Mary pass 3 weeks after the Super Bowl's over. So today, we revisit the fruitless testimony of two more fading star witnesses who have failed to testify to any presidential wrongdoing, much less evidence of high crimes and misdemeanors. Both of the majority witnesses are frustrated would-be business partners of Hunter Biden, who tried to leverage the Biden name, or the Biden brand, as they keep calling it. But they never got any business off the ground for reasons that will become painfully obvious to anyone watching the proceedings today.
So far in this hearing, it has felt like the worst episode of The Apprentice. I'm sure you're familiar with that show. It seems like my colleagues, and maybe you and some others, are trying to become the next vice president of the United States of America. You're auditioning or something like that, because Mr. Bobulinski, I know that you take exception to the fact that your credibility has been called into question over and over. But when someone comes to testify under oath, whether it's before this committee, behind closed doors, or in person, then we have to evaluate someone's credibility. And sir, I definitely have always had issues with your credibility, as I know that you are very well aware of.
Is it your testimony today that you personally witnessed President Joe Biden commit a crime?
I believe the fact that he was sitting with me while I was putting together a business
Did you
deal,
witness the
but-
president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is
FARA.
what is the crime, sir?